Hi, all of you. Welcome to the Prime Cat 2 analysis. I have with me Jijo, GP Sir, Shivku, and Ravi will also be joining us very soon. And before that, uh, I expect that this particular session will be very useful for you to how the way you can plan your entire mock cats, prime cats in our case. So, Jijo, if you're there, I will take you onto the stream. We'll also look at, if you look at this paper, the Prime Mock Cat 2, I hope all of you have written it. It is very, very nice and very similar to the Cat 2020 paper. And I think once the analysis comes out and Jesus sir is going to showcase the PPT, you will realize how close it was to the real cat itself. And that's the whole purpose of writing the mocks, to make sure that at every given point of time, you have an idea of where you stand, given that another 7 months to go, more than 7 months actually, 7 months and about 8 days to go, as far as the actual cat is concerned. Jijo.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. One person has said good evening. I hope more will.
Not Alan. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll share this. This is the second mock test of the season. Good evening, Sunit. Second mock test of this season, and we have somebody else also joining. Okay, Ravi is there. Okay, second mock to the season, and this particular test we have. I think this was a fair test in terms of closeness towards what you can expect in the test in the actual cat. And once we share the presentation and get into the detail, you'll get to know what you could have done, what were the challenges that the paper gave you, and what are the logic in creating each of these sections.
I think more or less DILR was a bouncer to many of them. That is what is evident from the scores. I'll talk about that. I'll talk about why also what is my feeling of why is it that people found it to be a bouncer as well. So
Uh, so somebody is saying that actual cat doesn't have 3 DI. Tavi, what are you doing? So anyway, let me share the.
before
So
before
GP sir also
before
has
CAT
joined us.
2020 before CAT 2020 slot 3, actual CAT never had coordinate geometry also. There were 3 questions of coordinate geometry in that one paper.
Yeah, okay. So I think that the people, nobody can sit and predict the paper, no, in that sense. Okay, let me share my screen and get my. So there you go. Okay, so prime cat to logic and analysis. We'll look at analysis, overall analysis, VRC, DLR, and QA. Let me start with the overall story, and this is what the data says. We have 1,537 people taking the test. I think at this point in time, I have to remind you guys that based on this, we are going to have a MBA Stars program. MBA Stars program, the logic is very simple. People who are consistently taking the mock test will be a part of this particular program. All the fighters among you, irrespective of the program that you joined, all the fighters. Only thing is that whatever, irrespective of the score, if you're continuously taking the mock test, then we want to help those students, because we have seen is that the people who eventually make it at, at whatever scores they are in are the ones who are still continuously fighting. So there are, I'm sure there are more number of people eligible to take these tests, but I'm hoping that since it was prime mock and there's window period, there's no window period for this test. No, I don't know. Ravi has to say that, answer that question. Okay. So anyway, that is first thing. So if you look at the scores here, 99.9 percentile, 122, 99.7 here, 105, 97, 77, 71, 57, 49. This seems to be more or less the same. So obviously the CAT percentile, the number of students taking the test is more. Any thoughts, GPRs on this, on observation, first observation?
Okay, it seems Aksh has gone out, so I'll pitch in. Um,
Okay.
Yeah. I think scores are decent, similar to CAT 21, and I think I would also want to respond to the fact that CAT does not have 3 DI. And to me, it doesn't matter whether it is 3 DI, three arrangements, or three something. Or end of the day, your task is to deal with what is there in front of you. Whereas Ravi rightly said, uh, three coordinate geometry never happened earlier. It happened. So similarly, if you look at the previous papers, you'll find there have been surprises all over the place. There are times when people used to say a CAT DI set will definitely have a set theory data. It did not happen in a few sets, in a few slots. So to me, this is a pointless argument. This is an excuse for saying why I did not do well. It is your fault. No, it is your fault. You did not prepare or you did not handle the paper well. It is not a question of preparation. My point is in this paper of DILR, there was at least one set which was straightforward, and there were at least two sets which could have been, if not fully, could have been easily solved partially. Okay? And I would say actually the DI set was the difficult one because it has extensive calculation. There's one of those few papers in which I would not have attempted DI. By the way, where were there three DIs? Can the Ravi? I'm just wondering. There was only one DI set.
I don't know.
So
Somebody
missing
said.
data is also DI because it involves numbers, sir.
Yeah, it is.
The
So
piles wala
by that
question is
logic,
DI because it involves.
everything I can convert into DI. To me, there was only that data set of LIDI. There was only one data set which was strictly speaking DI. The other is logic. Tomorrow, if I have a ranking data set, I will not say just because it has got numbers and it says the rank has to be a multiple of two, so that means it is DI. No, it is not DI. Okay? Similarly, when you look at that file wala data set, that weights, it was not DI. It is arrangement. Okay, as far as I'm concerned, I would call it arrangement. Other people are welcome to call it what they want. But to me, it does not matter whether it is 4 DI, 4 LR, 1 DI, 3 LR, 1 DI, 1 LR, two combinations, immaterial. Your job is to deal with what is there in front of you and not create excuses. Okay, this is the reason I would not do well.
Okay. Anyway, the section is called data interpretation, logical reasoning. You'll expect data interpretation at least. This is in terms.
GP, your voice is gone again.
Okay, yeah. So
Yeah, now it's
similarly,
fine.
and English, I think this was a fairly good paper. I liked the paper a lot. In fact, anyone who's taken CAT 21, I think which slot had a similar set as the missing data set, the Ravi? The marks wala. That was CAT 20 or 21?
I think it was CAT 2020 slot 2 had one set which was about the missing data of some
Average marks.
election candidates and stuff.
Yeah. No, I
Yeah.
think it was CAT 21, but whatever it is. So if you
Yeah.
have done the past CAT papers, then you would have seen it clearly what is to be done there. Okay. Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Ask, over to you.
Yeah, in fact, if you look at the data, Prime Cat 2 scores versus the Cat 2021, like Gijo has correctly said, it's an uncanny similarity at every percentile, almost every percentile, 72, 71, 97, 97 at a 99 percentile, 99.5 is 107 and 105. That goes on to show that this is one paper, whether it is 3 DI sets or 3 LR sets, I don't think that should matter to you because you may not have done that, but somebody else is doing it. Like GP sir has said, you have to deal with whatever is given to you. Now, but before we go to each of the sets, there is one advice. All of you who are getting this 80 percentiles, 90 percentiles, 50 percentiles, 60 percentiles. I was speaking to a student today and who said that, sir, I have written this cat thrice, and all the three times I have got a 75 percentile or a 50 percentile or a 60 percentile. I asked her a very important question, and she said, my quant is weak. I asked her this question, GP. It will be interesting to figure out how bad students are when they are revising. I said, okay, after a mock, what do you do? He says, I look at the question and see the solution. I said, after a mock is over, let's say you would have got 2 correct, 5 correct, doesn't matter. Do you try solving the question without seeing the key and the solution? Whether it's a DILR set, whether it's a RC set, or obviously a quantitative ability question, one advice and a sincere, serious advice I'll give you, and GP can add to that after this, is whatever your score is, if you want to get better, you need to improve your knowledge levels or your ability to handle pressure. To figure out the problem, is it the knowledge level or the pressure taking technique? You need to go out and make sure that after every exam, all the questions that you either have got wrong or you have not even attempted in the exam, try solving that without any time limit, but solving it without seeing the solution. It will do a world of good to you. And like Ravi has said in the previous one, and again, we are going to do 15 primes and 15 countdown mocks, Ravi.
Yep.
30 mocks you do this way. By the 31st mock, which is actually going to be your actual cat, you will do fantastically well, strategy or no strategy. That's my guarantee. GP, if you can add listening to this.
Basically,
And
the basic agenda of giving these 30 marks in the first place is to make you is to prepare you for every possible scenario, every permutation and combination that is possible in terms of the questions that you will get or the level of difficulty of the questions that you will get. Someone said in the when we did the All India Open Mock CAT, someone said VARC was troublesome, but DILR there were two sets of arrangement which were very easily manageable and could have been done. Right, this time around probably VARC was a little on the easier side as compared to the first mock. I would not say it was easy though, but you'll see that DILR was made deliberately a little tougher, while the quant was a little relaxed section in this particular mock. So these kind of permutations will happen, and you will see that once you are prepared, once you have taken the taste of all the types of combinations that are possible, probably when you go to the exam, you will not be taken by surprise, and that is what our agenda is also.
There's just one more thing I want to say. For example, somebody had the 60th percentile. That's the 60th percentile. If I look at the score, that's about 25, right? And let's say somebody wants to get to the 80th percentile. Here, at least for this mock perspective, that score is about 45. So the difference in this score is a score of 20 marks. Now 20 marks translate into net 7 questions. Net 7 questions mean roughly about 2 questions per section. So if I have an improvement of 2 questions per section, your jump in, so though this jump and the percentile jump is going to be huge. Now the real sort of jump happens, or the story is very different when you start hitting the 90th this percentile. Now even if let's say you want to have a small movement in terms of percentile score there, the jump in score has to be again kind of higher. So to me, that if somebody is on the path, like what Arks was saying, in terms of analyzing every single mock test, learning from every single mock, trying to see ways in terms of improving the score, as a small set of improvement in terms of score will it keep jumping your scores very high. So if you're hanging around and consistently taking the mock test on regular fashion and keeping your learning going, it's but I think that 92 94 percentile score is not very tough. I think a lot of people miss out on this is simply because they stop taking these tests, they give up on it, and the real fight of course happens around this stage. So but this range is where you can see this rise is very steep. That's just what I wanted to add with respect to this data point. Yeah.
In fact, for
Ars,
many of
there's
you,
one.
yeah,
Yeah, sorry, Ravi, just continue.
yeah, in fact, for many of you, it may seem that okay, 90 percentile, 92 percentile seems to be huge, given that I am probably only at 70, 75 odd percentile. But please understand one thing, that if you go through the past CAT trends, you will find that if you individually in each of the sections, you clear that 80 percentile sectional cutoff, you will automatically find yourself around 87, 88, 90 percentile overall. So the first thing you need to do is, boss, if your target is a 92 or a 95 percentile to get in some mock, then you have to break it down per section. And when you break it down per section, you'll find that the target is typically smaller. Just like what Jijo sir has done here, said that only 20 marks is the difference. That is 7 questions net. That is 2 questions per section. I think that approach is very, very necessary.
In fact, just to add to what you're saying, Ravi, I'll go back to the question that girl had asked, or rather, asked had asked that girl, why is it? She said, my quant is weak. Even if you have 0 in quant, you can get 90 percentile in CAT. What is the score required for 90 percentile?
9
I think
marks.
that
90 marks.
the 90
But
percentile is it's about
90
60
marks,
marks.
sorry.
Huh.
60 marks, 20 questions. Can you not get 10 correct answers in each of the two sections? Other two sections? If you get 10 correct answers in in DILR in English, or let's say 8 in English and 12 in, 8 in DILR, 12 in English, you'll be at 90 percentile. So this thing that that one section is to blame for for me getting 60 70 percentile is a stupid argument. All that girl is telling me is she has not even analyzed the papers. She does not know where she's lacking. Okay, so to me it is important to understand this is not and this is what I keep saying every time. Don't worry about percentile. Just ensure you get 7, 8, 10, 12 questions right in each section, whatever you are capable of. Across the paper, 90 percentile is 60 marks. 60 marks means 20 questions, 20 marks per section, 6 questions per section. You could not solve 6 questions per section. That is not the issue. So that means you have not handled the paper or you have not studied at all. Okay.
Yeah. Like I was saying that Yampe, if we get two per section, you're hitting here next time. Two per sections, you're going there next time, which means that there might be at this point in time lot of variations in terms of percentile. Like what GP is saying, a small variation here in terms of score. Assume a small variation in score is going to have a huge variation percentile. So what is important to focus on is the score at this point in time. Forget about the percentile. Percentile is merely a rank. So your target is at the bare minimum 10, 10, 10. That will get you to 90 as a score to start with. So that's the 30, 90. You're already hitting the 97, 97 percentile. Start with looking at 666 or 777 or whatever. I think the bare minimum that should be sort of your target. Okay. I'll get started with the VRC section first. I have recorded the solution and I think it's already up. You can watch the detailed solution. So this is in terms of the prime cat 2 at various percentile level 99.5, 99, 97, and so on and so forth. And look at I was actually very surprised to see this, okay, because because of the chart that I'm going to show next. So the 95th percentile score for this test is uh, almost pretty similar to the cat 2021 story. So which means a couple of things, which means we are looking at it's close to about 13 questions net correct. Let's say about 15 questions net correct, about 17 questions net correct there. Okay, so we have got this about what 12 question net correct. This is roughly about 10 question net correct. This is about 8 question net correct. This, let's say, about 7 question net correct, around this range. Okay, so the thing in terms of it is that a small number of questions that you jump, one or two extra two questions across two questions, the jump is going to be sort of huge, right? So let me at this point in time focus on the fact about 12 questions. Okay. And I was kind of surprised with this data, Ravi, is because when I look at the chart of question was analysis, I think for those of you who attended the session, the first analysis that we did understands this graph. But those of you who are watching this the session for this kind of analysis for the first time, this looks at percentage accuracy and percentage attempt. So assuming let's look at, for example, question number 5. Question number 5, this area graph and this point, look at what percentage of students attempted that particular question. So you can see close to about 76% of the students attempt the question. Out of those who attempt the question, what percentage of the students got this question correct? This is about 60% accuracy for this question. Then obviously this level of difficulty, the color code is based on, if let's say there is one question where more than 70% of the students are able to answer it accurately, therefore that question did not give huge amount of challenge to the students. Therefore I'm calling it easy. About 50 to 50 above, I put it on the green color, and then we have different gradation. Okay, so if I actually count the number of greens that I can see, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are a number of greens. So number of easy sort of set is 8, which is where I was kind of looking at this data and going, what just happened? Okay. Which means there are some set of students who also, who, while getting this, also knocked out a few of these questions here as well. Be that as it may, that one thing that you look at here is that this was a 4 reading comprehension passage, right? You see each reading comprehension passage, this particular passage offered us 2 questions which is green, 2 questions which is green, one question which is green and two questions which is green. This is something that you'll find in the CAT. So if you have a passage, it is not necessary that all the four questions is going to be easy. So there were these speed breaker questions here. There were speed breaker questions which I don't know why people got it wrong. Okay, so it is important to understand if a question is confusing, you just move to the next one. Eventually, the people who will, let's say that if you're able to do only three passages, you're basically taking out about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 question net correct, right? And then comes to this area VA, which have got 10 questions, odd sentence questions here, odd sentence question, which is type in the answer question. They were actually easy, which is amazing. I think this is lot many people will probably attempt this question because there is no negative marking. So here, I think one of the areas that eventually people will have to improve is on VA. The paragraph summary questions here was one question here, one question here, second question here, all sort of moderate ones. So it gave a little bit of challenge here. Okay, so that's overall. Other thing I want to just talk about is in terms of the design of the paper. So when you look at the first, this design of the paper was that the sources that from where the questions were picked, these sources are like the sources that we find in CAT. These two were picked from journals. This was picked from the Time article in the Time magazine. This about sexters and skeptics and those that passage was taken from Ionesses. So that's fine. And the questions had huge amount of spread. Main idea questions to contextual meaning questions to all that. Or spread was there, and we then also decided that, like the CAT, we will create the question in such a manner that for each of these individual sort of RC, you will get opportunity to pick up thing. And also the way in which the question was designed is that if you understood and comprehended the passage, you should be able to get these questions correct. And some of these questions I was kind of actually surprised that a lot of people eventually got this question wrong. You can watch the video to look at the mistake that you made. uh, the easiest passage to read was his third passage, and I think that lot many people did not read the passage. That's about 50% attempt is what I can see. This particular passage on friendship and love, the topic is good, but this was probably one very dense passage, but it still had easy questions to look at. Okay, so that was hopefully, I don't know how many of you are stuck at solving two passages. I think that at some point in time you have to look at three passages, or let's say reach a state at the end of the where you can evaluate all the four passages. May not be solving all the questions. That means that you will have to do that in about 28 minutes. Hopefully, while you're working on it, your comprehension will improve. My suggestion is that don't focus on speed reading or other thing. That is an outcome. Just focus on ability to comprehend, read the passage effectively. So if you go through the video solution that is created there, you'll understand how to do. And I just don't know why people don't attempt paragraph jumble question where there is no negative marking. I just don't understand. Not able to understand what is happening here. Is that you need these 10 questions? If you can knock over, imagine, let's say that you knock off 5 questions from here, net correct, which is possible. So let's look at this data. Let's say I want to get to the 90th percentile. 90th percentile is getting about 10 questions net correct. If my VA can get me 5 questions, then all I need is 5 questions from, so 16 questions available. Now, if you forget this 10 question of verbal ability, you see that, so there's a problem. So it's not very difficult if you're systematically prepping for the RCS section. Eventually everything is about comprehension, building those comprehension skills. It's you can actually nail this. So please ensure that these things you evaluate, look at the question once again, work on this. You've got access to past CAT papers. That could be good enough. That's enough. Whatever happens in the classroom happens by the side. Okay, let it happen. But from a preparation, ensure that before I meet you in the next mock test, you take care of these areas. Paragraph jumble, at least as an area, and paragraph summary. It won't take much time. I think we have still at least a month before we hit the next mock. I'm sure 30 days. Just at least focus on this area. Look at questions from the past CAT papers. Use a few CAT paper question and work on this as an agenda. All right. That's what I wanted to say. Anyone wants to add anything here? I spoke a lot.
Yeah, just a couple of things. We have already talked about them, but I think it's important to reiterate them. Don't ignore the verbal logic part. There is a tendency of doing more of RC and just ignoring the verbal logic. If you think you have a tendency of ignoring it, start from verbal logic. But within them, if you find you'll find that if nothing else, at least parasummary and odd statement are reasonably easy to handle. After all, what is parasummary? It's a one paragraph RC. If you can handle four paragraph RC, you can handle a one paragraph RC also, and the answers are typically easy to find out there. Okay, so my first thing is there. Second, don't rush. Read at the pace at which you're comfortable. Don't worry about completing the paper. But don't waste time also by reading the passage twice or going back and forth between the question and the passage. If you don't understand the question, leave it and move on. Okay. Yeah, that's essentially what I think needs to be done when you are taking the paper. After the paper, as Ask had said right at the beginning, please go through each passage, each question, see why is it right, why did you miss out, and then try to make sure that the same mistakes are not committed again, and try to identify why did you miss out. Was I in a rush? Did not understand the passage? Yes, yet tried to answer the question. Okay, so try to answer the why part in terms of your behavior during the test, and not it was a difficult question, hence I could not answer.
Yeah, I think the first step analysis is don't look at the solution, don't look at the video solution first. First to redo the question once again, which we have made mistake. Solve the passages at your own time. And then look at the solution and then go through the videos. That is when the learning happens. Right.
In fact, Jijo,
I
I think
would
it is,
I would add one. Sorry, Ravi.
yeah, I think it is very important to redo the question that you have done correctly as well, right? Because
Yes.
there are often ways and techniques that we will discuss in the video solutions, which which as a student you may have not probably thought about when you were actually solving that question. So when you are solving that question, you got it correct. When you start analyzing, I think you start from what your strengths are, make them better, and then go to the questions that you got incorrect and see where is it that your logic differs from the logic that a GGO sir or a GP sir or an ARC sir or anyone who is doing the solution is differing from.
So one idea I would like to give all of you, as far as the VARC section is concerned, like GP sir and Ravi, you also said, and of course all of us maintain that you need to definitely do verbal ability section. But there are 16 questions, 4 passages of RC. If you're not good in it, if you're good in it, Jijo and I always say that you should do all 4 sets. But for whatever reasons in the world, you are not so strong at reading comprehension or reading speeds. Do only 3 sets in the same 30 minutes or 27, 28 minutes. Don't try to do all the sets and then get many mistakes. Second, okay, if you're still not going to get marks in 3 sets, do only 2 sets to start with. Please understand, we are only in April. May, June, by July, if you can do 3 sets, and August, September, end of September, if you can do all the 4 sets in the reading comprehension by hopefully improving your reading speeds, and that will happen only if you do on a regular basis reading outside the exam hall, I think it will be very, very easy to reach the state that you would like to be in. Jiju.
Yeah. So, but like what GP is saying, like what Akshay is saying, don't rush. You cannot read fast just because you got 28 minutes or whatever. So you decided that you have 12 minutes. You read at the pace of comprehension. Whatever happens, happens. Whichever question that you have, don't get stuck. If you get stuck, just move to the next one. So you are interested in marks, whether it comes from passage number 1 or passage number 3. How does it matter? And some questions are designed in such a manner to confuse you. One of these questions in PTSD, actually, you have to look at information from 2 paragraphs and make sense of it. And it was genuinely sort of in the first reading. Some of the questions are designed in such a manner it was sort of little confusing to handle. Uh, but that's important. Okay, so hopefully you'll watch the do the analysis and watch the video lessons, and things should be good.
In fact, I think this is not only true for VRC, this can be extended for DILR and quant also. Suppose you start a set of DILR, you have cracked the logic of it, and you are 10 minutes into the set, and you know that probably 2 minutes or dena hai. It doesn't make sense that you leave that after that point in time if you are sure that you are probably going to get to an end. If you are taking that 2 minutes extra for getting those 12 marks, I think that extra time is worth it. In fact, even in quant, suppose you start off a question thinking that it is easy, and after probably solving for 2 minutes, you are two more steps away from the answer. I think you should go ahead and invest that 30 seconds extra to get those 3 marks. It is definitely worth the wait.
Okay, let's hit the DLR section. This is a story. So we are like 8 marks away here.
Yeah.
This was so 95th, 97 percentile was about 7 questions. So for some reason, people did find this one difficult. Okay.
In fact, Jijo, when I saw the mock, I called up GP sir and said, कि, "Sir, इस mock में arrangement नहीं है. Let us see how the students will do." Right? So GP sir said, "कि नहीं यार, arrangement or no arrangement, there were enough questions to be done, and I will be disappointed if people don't solve at least 7, 8 questions in the mock, and that is probably what has happened in the end." Sir, you take.
Yeah, see, end of the day, that last set, the four set Venn diagram is something I think should have been solved. The set theory, and that's a disappointing thing actually. I think people got carried away by the fact that there's a last set, and secondly, it has got 4 questions. People seem to be more inclined towards sets with 6 questions.
6 questions.
Okay, so that seems to be one issue. Second thing out here is, I think the second set, I would not have attempted in the paper. I'm very clear about it. Or rather, I would have done the first 2 questions, 31 and 32. I would have left the next 2 questions. Okay, yeah. 31 and 32 were the easy ones. 33, 34 require me to do lots of calculation. I'm not interested. Okay, so I would have done 2 and left 2. Even when you look at the first set of data, question 26, 27, 28, you can get them very fast. The remaining 3 questions will take you time. Okay. Similarly, if you look at the third set of data, let me just pull out the question numbers.
But 28 apparently people got it wrong, GP. Not many people.
Yeah, because I thought 28th was the easiest one. Okay. Ravi, it is that question which says how many.
How many are threes? How many
Yeah,
twos?
how many?
How many twos?
For how many cities is the AQI value missing for 2 years? There was only
I,
one possible case.
I think
You
that
know the
that is the
total
easiest
number of.
of the lot.
This was the easiest question of this set, and I'm actually surprised with the accuracy rate in this particular question.
Did
Now
we
I
check
have the.
whether our answers are correct?
Let me just see. Question 28. Yeah, answer is correct. With the copy
So
which I
I
have
think
has a correct answer. We can have
yeah,
that checked later on. Okay.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. And similarly, if you look at the third set of data, in third set you should have looked at, or rather, my initial analysis was do question 31. Sorry, not 31, 35, 37, 38, and 40. Okay. So 36 and 39 you can do later on if you get time. Now, to me, 3 questions the first one, 2 questions the second one, 5, 4 questions the third one, 9, and 4 questions the last set, 13. To me, this was a data set in which you could do anything between 10 to 14 questions comfortably.
This was a
Okay, on the lower,
four set theory question.
yeah, this is the set theory data set, and here possibly people have made mistake because they have tried to rush through it. A four set theory means you should give yourself time to make the figure. If you don't
The
give
the
yourself time to make the figure, you'll end up making mistakes.
Some people
the
may not
other
know no how to draw four set.
ah, I think
Then why
while,
didn't
while
you
I
do it?
made the solution, while I was doing the solution
Oh
also,
no.
I made sure that first 2 minutes I spent on teaching them how to go about creating a four set Venn diagram. I think that would probably be a fundamental problem for some people who have not attempted it. Otherwise, anyone who knows how to solve, how to create a four set Venn diagram, there is absolutely no excuse to not getting it correct.
Hey, Ravi, my issue with the accuracy. If you did
Right.
not know how to solve it, why did you pick it up? Then you have to say, I'll look at the others. I will spend 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes in each of the remaining sets and get 2 sets right. To me, the issue is first set, as I said, 3 questions were doable. Second set, you can do, it will take you 25 minutes. But the first 2 questions will take you 7, 8 minutes. For the next 2 questions, will take double the amount of time. Okay. So to me, the issue is why are you hell bent on doing every bit in that set? Bar graph 33, 34, people have got it wrong. I am not surprised at all. Okay, I'm not surprised that 33, 34 are wrong. Okay, to me, the issue is once you know, and look at the accuracy rate for 31, 32, fairly high. 26, 27, 28. I thought, as I said earlier, 28 to me is the easiest. You don't need to do anything after you have read the data. You know what's going to be the answer for question 28. Okay, so these are the ones which you should have done. I think people have either not picked up or decide if I pick up a set of data, I have to definitely do everything. Instantly, I've done. Oh, I forgot to give the recording. I recorded this thing on Sunday. Sunday, I did the recording, so I'm sorry. My fault. My apologies. I'll share it tomorrow morning with Master Ravi. So the first set and the third set, missing data and files. Two sets I've done the recording, and I'll share it. Okay. Ravi, you have attempted this paper, or arcs you have attempted?
I have done the solutions of
Okay.
the remaining three sets.
Okay.
I have done first, second, and fourth, and the third is also recorded. I still have to share it with Master Ravi.
Okay. To me, these are two sets. Again, as a rule, I would always say when you look at these kind of data set, please go to the question and the choices, pick up information. If you are doing the third set without looking at the questions, you will end up wasting a lot of time. And when you look at my solution, you realize I have not even used all the solutions or all these statements. Without with I think 50% of the statements I got four answers 35, 37, 38, 40. You get the answer with 50% of the statements. Now you can take a call whether you want to do the remaining two or do another set of data. That's a call you need to take.
So I
So
think, sorry.
yeah, irrespective of how doable the questions were, the picture showed here is basically if you look at the attempt rate of each of the set, it is only 40-45% of people have attempted, at least tried attempting each of the sets. And I think this has basically happened because of the familiarity that people develop, students tend to develop with the sets of arrangement, which is pure mechanical arrangement, which doesn't require you to deal with numbers kind of set. So I think that is where the paper the DILR paper was a bouncer to most of the students. But please understand, till 2017 to 2020, every year at least one of the slots of cat had a question of set theory. 2021, none of the slots had a question of set theory. It doesn't mean that 2022 will not have set theory. Or if you take it the other way around, every slot of cat has a question of arrangement. It doesn't mean that definitely there is going to be a arrangement in 2022 all the slots, but yes, there is a high probability, we agree to that. But it is also our responsibility at the same time to expose you to all types of papers that are possible.
So if people are saying, I think what are people? If arrangement were there, I would have cracked this set. Is that where we are?
Hey,
So
sorry, Jijo. The third set of data piles is arrangement. They have not cracked it. End of the story.
okay.
Piles is arrangement. I disagree with Ravi. No arrangement. To me, piles is an arrangement data set. You have to arrange different blocks of different weights into three different piles. Okay.
So
So
when
so
I say
so
arrangements, I am talking about the data sets that looks like A comes from Faridabad, B comes from
uh,
Bangalore.
arrangement can be of
Those
multiple
kind of
kinds. So I don't agree with that logic at all.
right.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So anyway, I think the suggestion that I have is, when you have these data set, and every time when you take DLR, it keeps telling you that it's hitting you hard. Don't say that I'm going to stop. I will prepare DLR and come and take the test. Ensure that every single mock test you redo all the question once again. Number one, go through the solution of that is provided by in there, the video solution, after you do it on your own. And third is watch the videos, jugaad videos from GP to understand this method, and keep a note of this method. Write it down on a piece of paper and keep it ready for your reference on the next time. These are the 5 6 method. You have to have a book, a log book, that I'm going to call about DLR, on recording every single thing. Pick up with this learning from mock to mock to mock to mock. Let's say we are looking at 30 mock tests. 30 mock tests multiplied by 4, that's about 120 set of all sort of possible combination. If I can learn from 120 sets, and I'm sure that that should be good enough to a large extent to at least get these scores that we're looking at. Where was the actual score? 95th percentile was 8 questions, right? 8 questions you can pick up from what's the 2 sets, maybe if we add a 6 and or 3 sets. Here, from GP's point of view, I think that there is a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 questions. So the 9 questions there is 27. 27 here would be here, by the way. Even in the actual the cat is that is still about the 95th to 97th percentile. So that's the thing I wanted to share. Okay. Shall we
In fact,
move to? Sorry.
to answer Harshit's question, if there is only 5 to 7 minutes remaining after you have finished one set, boy, you may not be able to solve an entire set, but you don't need to solve sets, sir. You need to solve questions to get to the answers. And there will always be one or two questions in probably one or two sets in the paper, which can be solved without solving the entire set. And that is the kind of, those are the kind of questions you have got to look forward to. If there are no such questions, then it is a bad luck completely.
And GJ, if you could just go to the previous slide. Yeah. Now when you look at CAT 21, look at the 99th percentile. It is 34, which is 12 questions. Okay, and 97 is 29 marks, which is about 10 questions. Now, if you look at CAT 2021, slot 2 and slot 3. Okay, I'm not talking about slot 1. Slot 2 and slot 3. Both these slots, there were 2 easy sets and one difficult set, one medium set, and one difficult set. Both slot 2 and slot 3. Okay, 2 easy, one medium, one difficult. And the 2 easy sets were such that you could have easily solved each of them in something like 7-8 minutes, worst case 10 minutes. So in 20 minutes, you could have comfortably done 2 sets of 4 questions each. And then remaining 20 minutes, you could have done 6. So the way I look at those papers, both the CAT 2021 slot 2 and 3, both these papers were 8 to 14. I'll say an average of 12. And 12 questions, 3 sets was doable. And this paper was, I would say, slightly more difficult because none of the sets was that easy. But that still does not justify the marks. Secondly, even in CAT 2021, where there were, as I said, 2 easy sets, one medium sets in slot 2 and slot 3. Slot 1 obviously got the advantage of scaling because it was a more difficult paper. But there also, if you did just those 2 easy sets of data, maybe not 8 but 10 questions, 30 marks, you'd still have been around 29%, sorry, 97 percentile. Okay, so to me, end of the day, it is important to pick the right sets to attempt. I hope the students have gone through the paper, identified the easy set, and then solved it, rather than jumping to the first set they come across.
We have the story for QA, which is this. Apparently, this was. I think this was QA. You made it. You're like, at least I'm paying people for DLR. Let's at least give a nice QA. Is that what the logic?
This time, barring one or two questions, this time what we did is every time we were doing geometry easy and arithmetic a little difficult or medium. This time there was hardly one or two questions of arithmetic which was slightly on the difficult side. So the majority of the paper actually ended up becoming manageable when it came to QA.
Okay, what are you
So
saying? The last time geometry was easy. Huh?
yeah,
This time you made arithmetic a bit lazy. Okay.
yeah. This
The-
time both the questions, 3 questions of geometry, all three of them were a little, probably you can say construction based or a little lengthy or tricky questions. But the arithmetic ones were easier to do this time.
One,
No,
two,
no,
three,
Ravi,
four,
one of your
five.
geometry question was completely Pythagorean triplex. If you
Three,
remember
four,
those
five,
triplets, you get the answer.
3, 4, 5 triplet.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, 9, 12, 15, and 12,
yeah,
16,
yeah,
20.
absolutely. So that data set, the moment you look at that question,
Hmm.
so I don't think that was the issue. And there were, as usual, a couple of questions which you look at the choices and you can get to the answer straight away.
So we
Correct.
had 10 green straight. So if let's say somebody was sensible to look at all things, they're hitting already here. So yet I think that there are some questions. The attempt percentage is still, this is low.
I,
This is low. This is like low attempt percentage for these questions is half the people are attempting. This one is like 40 percentage. What's going on?
I think the issue is with time management. If you look at the first few questions, first two, three questions, you will see there is a high percentage attempt rate and high accuracy rate. That means people have invested time in this, and it will be very interesting to see what average time have people spent in these first two, three, four, five, six, 10 up to the first 10 questions. If you end up spending majority of your time, 30 minutes, let us say, in the first 10 questions, by going by the ego that मेरे को quant आता है and I have to solve each and every question that I come across, then I think you'll definitely miss out on a few sitters that are there at the end of the paper also. So if you look at question 60, for example, 58, 59, 60, that was that patch, which I think most of the students who attempted it got correct. So, but most of the students did not attempt it in the first place. So that is probably where people have missed out. And it is not necessary that you start solving the questions from the first paper, from the first question itself. You can start it from any point in time. You can start it from any point in time, and you can start doing any question at any point in time. So I don't think uh, sticking to one particular approach is why you take mocks. When you take the mocks, when you take, there are 30 mocks on offer. When you're taking these mocks, please make sure that you, for the first 5, 6, 10 mocks, you experiment in the approach, and then you will figure out that one odd approach or one odd strategy has worked the best for you. Then you try to make that strategy your strategy and implement in that next 15, 20 mocks, and then you don't differ from it, and that's how you have got to go about it.
What happened here? What is this? One harakiri happened.
I think 63 is a question that people have missed out on horribly. That is a very easy question. 64 is a very easy question. 65, I agree, is tough.
So these two you are saying according to was easy. Okay, ठीक है.
Yeah, 63, 64 were easy questions. 64
63, how
looks
can you
like
get it wrong, yeah?
64 is a question that it looks like it almost looks like Amrish Puri, the Mogambo Khushua kind of a question, but it is not actually a Mogambo. It is the Andaz Apna Apna ka villain kind of a question. So it only looks like that. It looks
Your
as deceptive,
your
but
your
if you
your
actually go ahead and solve the question, it is not very, very difficult.
Ravi, your movie reference is too old. I forgot Mr. India and Andaz apna apna. Well, people will be going, what is this?
Don't get carried away by his age. He's not as young as he looks.
Right. I
Okay.
think that, in fact, 53 is another question which I would want to see what happened. Why is it that a lot of people got it wrong?
Less than 5%. So it's like
53 people did not remember Pythagorean triplet. That's all.
That's all. This
That's all.
was basically construction. If you could construct that triangle of 3, 4, 5, I think that would have been easy.
all right, okay. So I think okay. So let's so before I say thank you, let's actually pick up questions from the box
Yeah.
and then why Jijo sir doesn't make any video. What do you mean Jijo sir doesn't make any video? Jijo sir makes a lot of video. I've made all the solution to we for you guys out YouTube. I don't know.
Okay, Saurabh is saying for 99 you have to solve three sets. It's difficult to solve three sets in 40 minutes. No. First of all, forget about three sets. Did you do two sets? Ask yourself. Forget about the third set. You need to see where are you today and what do you need to do to reach the next stage. If you are right now at one set, you should not look at going to three sets. You said, let me do one set correctly and try doing the second set. You still have those 7, 8 months in front of you, so don't worry, Saurabh, we'll reach three sets. Okay. And then my suggestion would still be look at CAT 2021 slot 2 and slot 3. You will find two sets of data of 4 questions each, which was straightforward. Okay. And maybe if you are at the beginning of your preparation, you will not be able to do that tournament data set or some other data set. But if you are a repeater, then you'll probably kick yourself that how could you miss those sets.
We have this question from Himank. I felt every question was solvable, but eventually I ran out of time. How do I find shortcut methods to end up attempting more? First, there are no shortcuts. If you think there are shortcuts, then I think you're not writing CAT. Having said that, there are methods by which you can do it faster. What I would call it jugaad ways that GP sir keeps talking about. The second thing is, Himank, and this is for everyone else too, it is not whether you can solve or you cannot solve. It is about whether you can solve in the next 2 minutes or it will take you time, but you know what the concept is or the way to solve is, but it might just take extra time. Now, this part that I'm saying is a little bit of an experiential thing. If you get a little more of experience saying that, hey, this question or this type of question is taking me more time, you should avoid it in the first round. In fact, one of the strategies that GP, you also say it, and I also say it is, you need not do it all the questions in a single order. If there are 22 questions and 40 minutes, you divide your entire 40 minutes into a 25-minute and a 15-minute slots. And the idea for the first 25 minutes probably could be to go through question by question and only solve those questions which will take you less than a minute to solve. And any question which you know you can solve, but might take 3, 4, 5 steps to solve, leave it for the second round. And that 15 minutes second round should be good enough for you to solve that 5, 6, 7 questions there.
I want to pick this question from Lakshay Bansal. Okay. It says, I have started my preparation now without any preparation. How do I do mock? Okay. Remember Ukraine. Okay. This is Ukraine. CAT is Russia. There is no preparation. When the war is happening, we learn a lot of things. I think first of all, to say that there is a syllabus that exists, I have to complete a lot of things and then come back and prepare. You will never be prepared for it. So please understand, mock is a preparation tool. Today, if I take what is, for example, reading comprehension, full of comprehension, how much preparation do you need? You take a mock test and use that as a preparation tool, right? And then learn from the analysis and video solution. Look at all the math questions. Okay, some of the math questions not aware. Keep a track of those questions. As you learn, come back. Look at DLR set. Every single set pick from here. I think that it is very, very important that you don't wait till the very end. I don't know how many of you saw the newsletter. Give a shout out if you had. I think all four of us are there in the newsletter. There'll be more newsletter. I think GP was talking about the fact that it's important to keep on taking the mock test. Yeah. I think GP for you. I got. What was the question? I think you missed. To miss ho gaya.
It was from Kalpana.
Sir got 89 percentile. My negative marking lowered my score drastically. How can I improve?
She's given the answer herself. Stop doing questions that you don't know. You will save time and you'll have time to do other questions which you can solve. So Kalpana, the first thing is section by section, look at what are the question types that you are getting wrong and why. If it is lack of knowledge, stop attempting those questions. If it is because of some stupidity like lack of comprehension because you're moving fast, then I need to move slow. Or if it was just you misread the question, what is it that you need to do. So Kalpana, first thing is identify the cause, because only when you know what the cause is will you be able to identify the solution also. So what is it that made you get a wrong answer? If it is lack of knowledge, stop attempting it. If it is anything else, the appropriate answer will lie in your answer itself.
Muskan is asking a question. What is a good analysis strategy for mock? So to simply put in analysis, like Aks was also said the last time, what does analysis mean? Forget about analysis. It's about identifying your problem, causes for the problem, and looking at solution or trying to look at solution. The first step. where after taking the mock test, if you want to cry, please cry for about half an hour. Okay, then you sit, and then you look at the questions, and then resolve this question without looking at the explanations. And it helps to even if, let's say, you got a math question correct, so keep on looking. The question is a better way to solve. That is your first step. Don't look at solution. Solution only tells you what the right answer is. Solution does not tell you what your problem is. So your first look at this, and the next step is look at the video sort of solutions and the solution that is given. All the videos, go through it, and then list down. Okay, oh, I need to do this, and pick up, list down a, 3 4 areas that you want to work on. Keep working on the next time. So analysis is about redoing the whole thing and understanding it. Okay, what else? Gijo, so what should be the strategy for parajumble? I start with the correct sentence, then in between I go wrong with it. How should I improve? I think you'll improve as you go along. I'm sure that I have shared some tips in terms of how to deal with a paragraph jumble in the solution videos. So you have to understand what sequencing error you made. So because when you look at any paragraph jumble question, there is just one way of arranging it, that particular paragraph logically. That's how CAT creates it. There is no two ways of arranging it. There is just one way to arrange it. The CAT question setter recreates the question in such a manner that there is just one way to arrange it. So some sequential error, some temporal issues happening. So just so what you have to do is that whatever is the order that you put in, whatever the right order is, right? You just look at what is the logical issue in terms of linkages that you create, and then slowly you can improve.
Ravi,
Yes.
would you like to answer this question?
See, Ashmit, basically for you to be eligible for the star batch, we have said this even before, even in the first mocks analysis as well, that anyone who yeah, before August, we have 6 mocks that will go, 6 to 7 mocks that will go. If anyone takes around 6 to 7 mock, around 5 to 6 out of those mocks, people who are consistently taking mocks and showing us that they are ready to put those efforts into the preparation game, I think those are the type of students that we would really want to help, and that is why we are creating that star batch, right? There will always be additions and depletions to the people in the star batch, depending on if from August to September, let us say there are 4 mocks, you take all 4, then welcome to the star batch. Otherwise, no. So basically, I as an instructor would want to help a student who is seeking help, who is motivated himself, who is trying to do something and is stuck probably, and that is the ideology of the entire star batch that we are planning.
Jijo, a question for you.
Ask Jijo.
Sorry.
I'll excuse myself. I was in class from 9:30. So
Right, sir.
guys, I'll share the videos which I have created for this paper by tomorrow. Okay.
When will you launch VRC 1000 course? The launch is actually happening in a week's time. So my idea with respect to the VRC 1000 course is that I would want to focus a lot in terms of application. So there are certain core videos that I created last year. So those videos I'll keep. So this will be, and then those application videos, I want to add videos on. I want to start the daily doses early in the course. I would want to add videos on ZAT and other exams as well. So I'm going to launch it now, probably in the May. That's a plan. Last year I launched probably towards end of May.
End
So
of
it's
June.
like end of June is when I launched. Okay, May will be early, so May is good. We'll launch in May. I want to relax for some time before I launch, because once I start launching, my life will be different. When is next mock? The Ravi.
The next mock is the next mock as per the schedule is available in the newsletter. If you have gone through it,
So like some of them have said that they have gone through the newsletter. I think we will force them. Please make sure that you read the newsletter. Give us your feedback, and I think that that newsletter will start becoming better and better as we go along.
14th of May,
Okay.
actually. Okay, so
14th.
before we close this session today, there's a special announcement. Every year we do this flagship event called Race to 99 Percentile. As some of you asked about, are there any shortcuts to solving these questions? And Aksar replied, okay, there are no shortcuts, but there are certain methods or methodology in which you can attempt the paper or attempt the question, which will typically make the question look far easier than what it would seem to you from the outset. So 1st of May, 7:30 p.m. to 10:30 p.m., 7 p.m. to 10 p.m., we are going to do this mini version of race to 99 percentile, a head start. All of you who are aiming a 99 percentile and are looking for the the tricks, the way the way GP sir solves quant, or the way Jijo sir would attempt a question of the VRC, and the way ARCS would attempt a question of DILR live in front of you is what is going to happen on the 1st of May. The registrations for that are open, and the registrations for that will also be available. The option to register for that will also be available on your homepage of Aspiration tomorrow in the second half. So please register to that session and attend the session live to make the most of it.
But I would also say, Ravi, to add to what you're saying about the RT99, the race to 99, is that not only you, please welcome, please invite all your friends who are probably not career launcher students also to register for this, because if they can get some value and more people write the mocks after that, I think it's going to be very, very useful to each and every one of you who is preparing for this exam. Jijo?
Yeah. So come meet us here. Hear us as we discuss how to deal with the cat. We will continue our effort in terms of giving you all sort of inputs. So one input that we are doing is through this mock and reaching out directly, ensuring that we ourselves do the analysis of the test, connect with you, and then we are doing this race to 99 sessions. So it is important that if you be attached with us throughout, and also be attached with us through the stars program for all the students who are taking the mock test regularly. I think that there are a lot that you guys can learn from us. So that is assuming that you guys can trust us. So that's basically I'm making that assumption, and hopefully right
Right,
assumption. That's it. Okay.
right. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful time. And thanks, Jijo and Ravi.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Bye.